Welcome to the Bandano Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. Project B has finally landed their first official star. Yes, they have. This is not their first signing, but this is the first signing with real star power. You had Nneka Ogwumike. You had Alyssa Thomas. You had Jonquel Jones. You had Jewel Lloyd, Camila Cardoso, Janelle Saloon, Kelsey Mitchell, Lee Mang, and now you have Sophie
Cunningham didn't make her move because she wanted to fix the world. Not even close. This was about basketball, pure and simple, and the massive paycheck tied to it. While other stars were busy releasing polished statements crafted by PR teams, Sophie's leap to Project B tore the mask right off the entire women's basketball narrative. This wasn't just a signing. It was a direct shot at the system, a loud, unapologetic reminder that loyalty only exists as long as the money does. Project B finally put a price tag on her value, and she took it. The response from her old league? Silence. Heavy, telling silence. And the aftermath hit instantly, hard like a shockwave through everyone who stayed behind. Because this move wasn't sentimental. It wasn't for image. It was about securing the bag and reclaiming the freedom to hoop without politics, censorship, or pressure hanging over her. And the truth behind her decision is about to break everything people assumed they understood.
Unrivaled runs in the middle of that. If you are in Project B, there is no way, shape, or form you are taking part in Unrivaled. That's just how the schedule lines up. Unrivaled continues to lose miserably in the arms war. Unrivaled continues to lose miserably in the arms war. Sophie Cunningham, she was one of the more popular WNBA players before Caitlin Clark joined the league. She was one of the more popular WNBA players before she joined the Indiana Fever last season.
The official narrative they'd been pushing was all about growing the game. A familiar line, one that Cunningham's first announcement even mirrored. But if you looked past the carefully crafted phrasing, a very different story was unfolding. Beneath those words was a message about players finally claiming real power and the harsh economic realities WNBA stars face every day. Cunningham's public persona has always centered on pure basketball, a stark contrast to many of her peers. That contrast is exactly what made her signing such a flashpoint for much bigger conversations. This wasn't just a change of teams. It was a statement that carried weight, authority, and undeniable impact.
Followers rose to the roof. TikTok rose to the roof. This is the first domino from what I'm seeing that have people actually saying, wait, where can I watch this? Where could I watch this? Yeah, Kelsey Mitchell was cool. Yeah, she's cool. Camila Cardoso, yeah, that's cool. Well, this was the first domino that I'm seeing. People are like, wait, maybe I do want to check this out. Maybe I do want to see what this is all about. Let's take a look at some of the reactions before we get into the article.
So here's the deal. Project B's season runs from November through April, which puts it on a direct collision course with Unrivaled, another emerging league. The rule is straightforward. If you commit to Project B, playing for Unrivaled is completely off the table. No exceptions. This scheduling clash isn't accidental, it's a power move. Project B is aggressively staking its claim, cornering talent, and forcing players to choose a side in what's rapidly turning into a high-stakes battle for dominance. Meanwhile, Unrivaled, already struggling to secure big-name stars, now finds itself outmaneuvered. This arms race for women's basketball supremacy is far from over, and Project B is making it clear they're playing to win.
She wasn't one of these fake WNBA activists, turned player, turned activists, turned player, turned... No, she just wanted a ball. Sophie Cunningham just wants the ball. She wants to play basketball. Salute to Sophie Cunningham. I agree. Go get that money. Sophie never claimed she wants to save the world or painted herself to be better than all, so I'm not even mad about this. Get your money.
Before Caitlin Clark took the world by storm, Sophie Cunningham was already a fan favorite, steadily rising in popularity. But last season, wearing that Indiana Fever jersey, she completely blew up. Remember the JCS Sheldon headlock moment? That raw, unfiltered intensity? That was the spark that propelled her to the next level. Suddenly, her jersey sales skyrocketed, her social media following exploded, and she was dominating TikTok. Sophie wasn't just a star anymore. She had become a phenomenon. A poster face, the kind of athlete Project B knew could capture global attention instantly. Signing her wasn't just smart. It was a strategic masterstroke.
Project B will challenge Unrivaled. The money is huge in Project B. To play 5v5, Unrivaled is 3v3 in a high school gym. 3v3 in a high school gym. Unrivaled is...
For a lot of people, Sophie Cunningham's signing was a major turning point. It felt like the first domino to fall the moment casual fans finally stopped scrolling and took notice. Sure, Project B had picked up other solid players like Kelsey Mitchell and Camila Cardardoso. Respectable moves, no doubt. But Sophie brought a completely different level of hype and energy. People started asking, wait, where can I actually watch this league? That sudden curiosity was a massive win for Project B. It proved they finally had someone capable of breaking out of the niche basketball world and drawing mainstream attention. Some players reportedly said, I'd much rather play in Project B and make the millions than stick in the WNBA. And that's exactly right. The only way Project B impacts the WNBA is if the contracts are exclusive. The seasons themselves don't overlap, so players could technically do both leagues. But playing almost 11 months straight is not realistic. The exclusivity is what creates real tension. Fan reactions online were brutally honest. Many highlighted what made Sophie so appealing to Project B and their target audience. She wasn't the type to be constantly political or virtue signal. Comments praised her for being straightforward and focused purely on basketball. That no-nonsense authenticity resonated with fans. Sophie didn't want to carry the weight of social agendas. She just wanted to play, and her brand reflected that. Project B's strategy is clear. With the upcoming men's and women's 5-on-5 seasons, the league has already signed big-name women's players with massive salaries that could reshape the global women's basketball scene. Their schedule runs from November to April, which conflicts with Unrivaled and European leagues, but not the WNBA. Reported annual salaries exceed $2 million compared to the WNBA Supermax, which last year paid under $300,000. Even revenue-sharing bonuses can only push WNBA players over $1 million, making Project B an undeniable financial leap. Podcast hosts have noted the difference. Sophie isn't an activist on a soapbox. She's laser-focused on the game. Some hosts have drawn a line between her and what they call fake WNBA activists, emphasizing that Project B is catering to players who want to prioritize basketball over politics. For Sophie, that meant chasing her passion without being forced into advocacy roles, making the league extremely attractive. There's also a bigger context in play. The ongoing labor negotiations in the WNBA reveal conflicts of interest, particularly between players, owners, and executives like Aga McKay and Fee. Very few journalists highlight these issues, yet they influence the choices of players like Sophie. And while the WNBA has produced stars, Mitchell breaking out in 2025 after a strong playoff run, finishing 5th in MVP voting despite Clark's injury, the money gap is staggering. Project B isn't just offering a bigger paycheck, it's offering generational wealth. Salaries over $2 million versus the WNBA's cap $300,000, even with incentives, is a seismic difference for any professional athlete. Beyond the cash, Project B sweetens deals by offering actual equity, turning players into stakeholders with real power in the league. This financial and strategic opportunity explains why Sophie and others are making the leap. The question now, will it help them land Caitlin Clark? Yahoo has suggested that's the ultimate goal, tying all these moves together into one bold, market-shaking plan, their long-term financial future directly to how successful the league becomes. It's a really smart incentive that goes way beyond just one contract, offering them a real piece of the pie as the whole thing grows. This kind of forward-thinking approach is a powerful magnet, especially when you compare it to the old-school league structures that almost never give players these kinds of direct ownership opportunities. It gives them a real stake in the game. The host then made a really provocative point. He said that those activists over at the other league Unrivaled, they don't actually want someone like Sophie Cunningham. Now that's not just a throwaway comment. It points to a deep fundamental difference in ideology between the two leagues. The suggestion is that Sophie, with her reputation for being all about the ball, doesn't really fit the mold that the rival organization is looking for. It hints that Unrivaled might be trying to build a very specific brand of player and public image. It's a harsh truth about the business side of things, implying that who gets picked isn't just about skill on the court, but also about whether they align with the league's bigger mission or values. The potential impact on the WNBA gets pretty complicated. It only becomes a real problem if Project B's contracts have exclusivity clauses that stop players from playing in both leagues. Right now, the seasons don't totally overlap. So, in theory, a player could play in both Project B and the WNBA, but man, that would be a brutal, grueling 11-month schedule of non-stop basketball. Still, the massive financial appeal of Project B could easily tempt players to put their energy into the new league, especially if the WNBA keeps dragging its feet in these tense labor talks without seriously bumping up player pay.